Okay, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to the Government Opportunities live debate arena, supported by the new Government Opportunities portal at govops.co.uk. I'm Graham Steed, the Managing Editor of Government Opportunities, and I'm delighted to be chairing this event. To get us started is actually hear an opening remark from each of the panellists. Just a short statement, 30 seconds or a minute, just to kind of outline what you see as being the single greatest challenge that's affecting the public sector finances, public sector procurement, public service delivery at the present time. So perhaps, Eddie, I can ask you to kick off.
Thanks, I think potentially at the moment, I think one of the biggest challenges is getting politicians to stop sticking their nose into procurement and letting procurement people actually deal with it themselves, and letting the market come to its perfect position. We've got so many sound bites going on just now from politicians, many of them contradictory, that at the moment I don't know how people in particularly central government know exactly what they're meant to be doing. And I think it's something that has to now cease and let us get to a position whereby everyone can start to formulate proper policies rather than jumping about like jackrabbits trying to figure out where to go next.
Okay, thank you, Eddie. Ken?
Okay, I think I'll prompt from managing cultural change, really basically because the scale of the cashable savings and efficiency reductions which the government's looking for anyone in the private sector, if you have 20-25% taken out of your budget, it's not an easy thing dealing with that. It's no longer nice CLG sort of cutting a little bit, 1% here, 2% here. This is serious money. And the thing is, people are now in this idea of, well, we need to look at, do e-auctions work? Does category management work? Does supplier relationship management work? Well, most people in this room know they work. The issue is they're not being implemented properly. And people have an idea, so we just do that and it will happen. It doesn't happen like that in life. And I think the biggest challenge realistically is to get chief executives of organisations, permanent secretaries, and what have you, to actually take a leadership role. As you said, this is not an exercise in organisational theory, it's an exercise in cultural change management, and actually driving that through to actually work. Otherwise, it's going to end in tears.
Okay, thank you. Ken, Simon?
Well, I think from a supplier perspective, I think how the public sector in general adopt technology, certainly at software level, to actually get to the front end, to try and help make savings and drive those through, is key. I think, obviously, there's some big numbers that have been branded around recently within government about what they need to save and how they're going to save it. It's all up in the air. From a supplier perspective, from a private sector organisation, getting to the front end of your business services by software is the key to do that. And obviously, your challenge with us and other organisations is how you actually adopt the software to actually implement it.
Okay, thanks, Simon. Nigel?
Well, without doubt, the challenge is the spending cuts we've got at the moment. In the case of Birmingham, we've got cuts of £300 million over the next 2 to 3 years. And those are not just happening to the service areas, but they're happening to us as well. So we, procurement, are being cut 30%, as well as having to step up and deliver more for our internal customers. So key for us is to have the capability to do that. And make sure that we use the right people, we use them properly. And we're moving towards becoming a commissioning type organisation, where we have to establish what the services are that we're wishing to demand and what the best way to deliver those are. Earlier we heard about a cultural change. That's a change for us. So it's implementing different ways of thinking and different ways of working, whilst we're seeing resources around us being squeezed. It's not a case of whether we do that, it's how we can do that. And then just to add on top of that, in the desire to cut bureaucracy, we're almost seeing more bureaucracy with increasing transparency, the need to cut all our spend, potentially even all of our contracts. Those come at a massive resource, and that's the resource that we're cutting. So I know you asked for one challenge, I've thrown half a dozen into the round there.
Very good. Thank you. James?
We've got a challenge of just making savings. We've got a challenge of saving money. But if we haven't got the money to spend, it's relatively easy to save. So we will deliver the savings, because the money won't be there. there's other challenges we're given at the same time. The report efficiency and transparency has been reported. The greater transparency will lead to greater questioning of your procurement activities. And whilst you might be perfect in all your procurement activities, it will take enormous time to justify what you're doing. We also are being asked to give a greater proportion of our contracts to small and medium enterprises, which I'm sure we would all support. But there has been a drive over recent years to place fewer and larger contracts, and the number of procurement staff was reduced to reflect that. We're now at a time of reducing procurement resource. We've been asked to let more contracts, more and smaller contracts. We'll achieve these presumably by collaboration, by looking at what is important to your organisation that you spend your procurement resource on, and it gives someone else the opportunity to buy the straightforward items in bulk. So lots of challenges out there, which I'm sure we'll rise to meet.
Thanks, James. Nigel?
I think for me, one of the consistent themes that I believe is central to this is people. You've probably heard Ken talk about the cultural shift and change. That clearly is at the top of the agenda. So for me, the emphasis is actually in defending and making sure that we have the training and development for people that, quite frankly, have never been here before in the public sector, particularly over the last 15 or 17 years, depending on where you draw the graph from. The actual change in the economic situation has not been felt in this way in the public sector and for this magnitude in such a short space of time. And so for me, helping people to get through the next 3-4 years or how long it's going to be is actually quintessential to delivering the whole programme. And so therefore for me, CPOs should be there standing and defending training and development budgets and helping their people to face these challenges in a mature and adult fashion.
Okay, thank you. Well, thanks to each of the panellists for getting us started. So.